YouTube, what's up? Riz here, back with some more NFL draft position rankings. This is actually the last episode of this. Before we get on to some mock drafts today, we're going over my safety rankings. And I'm probably going to have a lot of haters after this one. Just remember, it is safety rankings. It's not a big board. Big board could be a little different. A guy could be ahead of other guys, depending on his other abilities. Some of you probably know where I'm going with this. But let's get into the safety rankings. My number one is Jamal Adams. My number two overall player in the draft, actually a total package safety, can do everything, does everything at a high level. I think he would actually be my number one corner if he was a corner in this draft. We've seen him play deep, play center field, come up, play in the slot, cover tight ends. Like he does it all. Really only weakness, which really isn't a weakness to me, is that he doesn't get like a lot of interceptions, but he also at the same time doesn't allow receivers to make the catch. And I prefer lockdown guys for the most part and defensive backs. He's a lockdown guy. He can read plays, come out, make the tackle, no problem. Really no weaknesses to this guy's game. My number two overall player in the draft and my number one safety. My number two safety is Malik Hooker from Ohio State, who is my number three player in the draft. So very close with those two safeties, very good players. Malik Hooker's more of a playmaker guy, ton of picks. I mean, he can do everything else at a very high level as well, just not as good as Jamal Adams in my opinion. But a ton of picks can change the game. It depends on what type of safety you need, what you already have, what you're looking for, and the injury that Hooker has kind of has him below Adams. I'm pretty sure I would have Jamal Adams anyways, but they're very close, so that's how I split them up. I don't think the injury is that much of a concern. I think Hooker is a great player and will be good to go. My number three safety is Marcus Williams, the Utah safety, who I really like. One of my favorite players in the draft, mainly because he's a sleeper. He's kind of gets second round talk. I think he's a first round player. Another safety. There's really no weaknesses in his game. At the top of this class in run stopping, but I think he's a better pass coverage guy. Some crazy stat, 0.09 yards per coverage snap. Got that thanks to my boys over at Pro Football Focus. Crazy stat. Just doesn't give up yards. Basically, he's like a true center field safety. Like if you need to cover the deep ball, you can just put him back there. Only weakness to his game, I think, his angles to making tackles. Sometimes he still makes the play, but sometimes his angles look a little off. But a really good safety who's really on the rise for me. I like him a lot. My number four, very close between these next two. My number four is Budda Baker from Washington. Another guy with not too many weaknesses. His weakness would be that he's short, 5'10". He may play nickel. Some people think he may have to play nickel corner, which isn't really a bad thing. But I think he can play safety. If you watch the tape, this guy's all over the place attacking the ball. Reminds me of nowhere near the same style player, obviously, but Marcus Peters from Washington. He was a corner. Budda Baker's a safety, so not saying the same style. But when I remember watching Marcus Peters' tape for the first time, and a guy that just really knew how to attack the ball, and that's what I saw in Baker too. Peters would get more interceptions, obviously, but just a guy I was really surprised about how well they attacked the ball, how well they read plays. That's why it was similar to me. So Budda Baker I really like. Could be a late first round, maybe early second round guy. And then my number five safety is Obi Melifonwu from UConn. He could be 4 or 5 Budda Baker, and Obi very close. Difference is I think Baker's more ready right now. Melifonwu needs to work on his pass coverage a little bit, but really improved this last year. Good run stopper. Freak guy, obviously. Like I said, very easily can be 4. I'm back and forth between this before making this video. It was, yeah, I had a hard time. It was very close because I keep switching it. But that is my top 5. And yes, Jabrill Peppers he's not in my top 5 at safety because, I mean, obviously he's going to try to play safety, but he's just not as good of a safety as those top 5 guys right now. I think he has a ton of potential. Goes to the right team, he can end up being a very good safety. But he was moved from safety to linebacker at Michigan. There's a reason for that. I mean, really, we don't know 100% which position he's going to play. He can play corner, he can play linebacker, he can play offense, he can be a hell of a returner. So that's why on a big board, he's probably going to be higher than most of these guys, not Adams or Hooker, but just because his ability to play other positions, and he's definitely a hell of a football player. Just if we're talking safety, who is the better safety? The guys I named ahead of him, I think right now you can say that they're better safeties. Peppers has potential, like I said, great athlete, love the guy as a prospect. Just if we're just talking safeties, he's my number 6. So it's tough, but and then after him, Marcus May from Florida, who I really like. Excellent at reading plays, excellent run stopper, best run stopper, probably the best tackler in this draft class for the safeties. So really like him. Needs to work on coverage a little bit. It's good still good. I expect him the second round. Other guys I want to talk about: Josh Jones from NC State, impressive combine, impressive season, can do both cover the pass and stop the run, can really hit too. So really like him. Justin Evans is another guy, very interesting prospect. Pass coverage skill, it's first round talent in pass coverage, but tackling is late rounds, late, maybe undrafted, misses a lot of tackles. Form really isn't there at all. So what do you do with a guy like that? I expect him to go rounds 2 or 3 because his coverage is so good. He's probably, just looking at his pass coverage, he's probably a mid to late first rounder, which is ridiculous. And so the tackling needs work. But I like Justin Evans' upside. Eddie Jackson from Alabama, very similar to Justin Evans. Very good in coverage, knows how to attack the ball, he's a playmaker, but struggles in tackling. Needs to work on that. Also had an injury, so that's why he may be below Justin Evans. Tedrick Thompson led the nation in interceptions, safety from Colorado. Another guy, tackling is an issue, needs to work on that a lot. But he's definitely a sleeper, a guy that really can be a playmaker. So I think it's hard to tell where he's going to go. I think he may go around round 4. I think he maybe should be discussed in round 3 just because of his playmaking ability. Delano Hill from Michigan. He was a safety from Michigan, unlike Jabrill Peppers, and he's actually a playmaker, knows how to break up plays, and he's really not talked about enough. I don't think Delano Hill is solid. Josh Harvey Clemens from Louisville, big safety, 6'4", like Obi Melifonwu, but nowhere as good as Obi Melifonwu. But I think with the right work, he can be good. I know some teams going to like his size and ability. Monte Nicholson from Michigan State, another sleeper that I like. Plenty of safeties, a lot of great safeties in this class. I think, from what it sounds like, a lot of lacking in the tackling department, but a lot of good coverage skills here. The reason the guy, my top 5 are in the top 5 is because their ability to do both coverage and run supports. And that's what separates them from the other ones. And again, I can't stress this enough, Jabrill Peppers will be higher on my big board than some of the guys ahead of him because of his ability to play multiple positions, and that obviously is a good football player and has a ton of potential. But as a safety right now, day 1, I prefer guys who are ready day 1. Potential is a great thing, though, but he may be below some of his other ones because the other ones are proven safeties. So that'll do it for my safety rank. That's all the rankings. I got through all of them. Next up, more mock drafts. I'm doing team by team mock 7-round full mock drafts. Probably going to give you 2 different mock drafts for each team. Each team will have a separate video. So I'm going to start working on that. I hope to upload those in the near future. And we'll always have more draft coverage, whether it's mock drafts or podcasts, stuff like this. So stay tuned for all that. Please like and subscribe. That'll do it. Goodbye.